Why, how, and where can you get your 6 to 5-year-old child vaccinated for COVID? My name is Dr. Noha Polack. That's the discussion we're going to have today. Why get your child vaccinated for COVID if they're between 6 months and 5 years? Because greater than 2 million children in that age group have gotten COVID since 2020. Also, they do have a slightly increased risk of severe disease between the ages of 6 months and 5 years, even if they're prior healthy. Also, prior infection with COVID may not protect them against the coming variants. So those are the three main reasons that I, Dr. Noha Polack, recommend that you get your 6 month to 5-year-old child the COVID vaccine. Next question, which vaccine, doctor? That's the most frequent question I got asked this week. Is it Moderna or Pfizer? They're not easy to compare, to be honest with you. They're both the mRNA vaccines. The doses are smaller than the other doses that we're supposed to give to teens and to adults. However, it's very difficult to compare. So I'm going to give you some information, and I'm going to hope that this helps you as a parent make the decision. The Moderna vaccine for 6 months to 5 years was given the emergency use authorization last Saturday. The study that I read by Moderna was a study of 6,000 children. They were given 2 doses of the Moderna vaccine, 25 micrograms each, and they were given the 2 doses 28 days apart. After that time period, they checked them 2 months after the second dose, and they found that the efficacy of this vaccine was about 41% in preventing symptomatic disease. That means 41% of the kids who did get the vaccine did not get COVID in comparison to the other non-vaccinated group. So the efficacy is not 100%. It's not 90% like we had thought initially with the initial vaccines. But the answer about Moderna, it's about 41% effective in preventing the symptoms of COVID infection. But in this study, there were no deaths due to COVID or to side effects. There was no myocarditis or inflammation of the heart. There were also no severe allergies due to the Moderna vaccine at this age group. So in this study, there were no deaths, no myocarditis cases, and no severe allergies up till now. The most likely side effects are within the first 2 days of the vaccine, and those are a local reaction, so redness or swelling at the site of the injection, as well as fatigue, headache, being sleepy, or fever. The fever occurred in 16% of the children giving this vaccine, and it was highest after the second dose. And some children had inflamed lymph glands, whether they're in their under their arms or in their upper thighs. So those areas had some swollen lymph glands from the vaccine, and that did occur in about 9% of the patients. So no severe reactions were recorded in the Moderna vaccine trial for kids 6 months to 5 years of age. The efficacy is about 41%. The Pfizer vaccine was given prior use authorization for kids 6 months to 4 years. And their study had 3 doses, 1 week, 3 weeks, and 8 weeks apart. The efficacy of that study is really hard to determine because the study was stopped after the second dose, and then FDA made them start up again. So the numbers of children in the last part of this study was not so much. They are claiming an 81% efficacy, but there is something called non-confidence. That means there were not enough children in the last third of the trial to make that a very confident number. So with the Pfizer studies, there were also no deaths. There's no myocarditis cases or heart inflammation, and there were no severe allergic reactions in kids 6 months to 4 years. The side effect profile for Pfizer is much less than it is for Moderna because the dose of each injection is also less. So the side effect profile for Pfizer is much less fever, much less fatigue, irritability, and it usually still happens on day 1 or 2. So we cannot compare the efficacies because of its different study design. These two vaccines are not interchangeable. So if you get one Moderna, you cannot get one Pfizer, and vice versa. They also can be given with other vaccines according to the CDC recommendations. However, there have been no studies done on kids who have gotten this at the same time as other vaccines. So the CDC is saying, yes, you can do it, but there are no studies at this point to state that this is an okay thing to do. So I'm going to leave that up to parents' discretion. You're supposed to get your vaccine and be observed in the office for 15 minutes. Unless your child has a history of a severe allergic reaction, then we should observe them for 30 minutes. What if my child has had COVID, doctor? Should I get my child vaccinated? The answer to the question is yes, you can. And the right time, in my opinion, not in everyone's opinion, is about 3 months after that child tested positive or became symptomatic for COVID. So 3 months or 90 days is what I would recommend you wait before you get the COVID vaccine if your child has recently had a COVID infection. Those are my thoughts. In progressive pediatrics, we currently do have both Moderna and Pfizer vaccines available for your children. If you would like to make an appointment, you can please use our patient portal and book the appointment for a COVID vaccine, or you can call our offices, and at that point, you will be given an appointment for a COVID vaccine. We're having specific days for Moderna vaccine and specific days for Pfizer vaccine so that we don't get mixed up. So in summary, both vaccines are available at Progressive Pediatrics. The Moderna vaccine is 2 doses, 28 days apart. The Pfizer vaccine is 3 doses. The first one on day 1, then 3 weeks later, and then 8 weeks after the second dose. So it's 1, 3 weeks, 8 weeks for Pfizer. The side effect profile in Moderna is mild, and in Pfizer is even more mild. So parents, you get to make this decision. We do not know which one is much more effective because the studies are simply not comparable. But we want to be there to support you. We are offering it for your children. So call us at Progressive Pediatrics or use the portal to make an appointment, and we would love to see you. Have a great day.